How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is William, and this is March 20th, 2025. And this is early in the morning, very early in the morning. But I couldn't sleep, because the Lord's been giving me visions. You heard me right, Lord has been giving me vision. The vision that the Lord has gave me this morning, early, still dark, is for me to reach out to Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance. And I was just laying there, like, I was just thinking like, wow, really? So I'm gonna just go ahead and let's see what come of this, because the Lord has been working with me, and, so he done brought this to my knowledge, early this morning, way early this morning, and I couldn't sleep. So here we go. And while the picture might be a little bit dark, y'all, it's because it's still dark. Okay, so I'm using a little light to kind of brighten me up a little bit, okay? So this is for Mr. Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance. This is William Wall. How you doing? And I know this video is going to reach you because the Lord has brought it to my attention, and this is one of the reasons why I can't sleep. Mr. Trump, you're in your camp, but like I said, my name is William Wall, and I've been for you ever since when you lost the president the first time. I mean, when you was president and then you lost, which you didn't lose. I've been with you all the way. I even put it on my YouTube that you're gonna be the next president again before anybody even came out with it. You can go back and look at my YouTube on that. So, and let me go ahead and say this too, what I've been telling everybody already, Mr. Trump. J.D. Vance is going to be our next president. After you serve your 4 years, J.D. Vance is coming. Now, I'm not 100% clear on the Donald Trump Jr. yet, but as to what I got so far, that he's going to be the vice president. So, but I know J.D. Vance is going to be the next president. Keep doing a good job there, J.D. Vance. Trump, you're doing a good job. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything that you're doing to make America great again. And I know we all got a lot of work to do. And you already started doing your work. You ain't been in office a good 2 months. And you doing the thing, And I'm doing the thing right along with you. So I know exactly how you feel as a man to get the setbacks that you have been through, because I've been going through the same similar things here in Rockingham, North Carolina, Richmond County. So since I got that out the way, let me go ahead and tell you, Mr. Trump, what's going on. I need you and your camp to come through for me to bring the right lawyers, the right people to deal with the situation that I've been dealing with for a long time now here in Richmond County. First, I'm gonna go by step with this, so you can kind of get I'm gonna give you the highlights so you can get the highlights and the gist of what's been going on here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to 2013, and the reason I'm gonna go back to 2013 because I first had a child. Well, let me put it this way. My involvement with the sheriff department in Richmond County has been ongoing for many years, because I stand up for my rights. I don't let them run over me. And when I was younger, I used to try to do things, fighting and this and that, and I always end up getting beat up by the police or whatever, and get in handcuffs and go to prison for something I didn't do. So, and I'm gonna make a long story short of it. I'm just saying I just been involved with the sheriff department back with the years. I'm gonna start with R.W. Goodman, on the Dale Fur, Clements, and now James Clement, and now Mark Gulledge is the sheriff of Richmond County now. So I done been through all these sheriffs in Richmond County, and I must say, with the first sheriff, with the sheriff R.W. Goodman, they never had no problem with him. I was pretty young then, so I didn't know much about him, but I know he was a sheriff. So let's go ahead and get into the highlights of my issues okay? So I married a woman named Michelle Wall. Well, Michelle Holmes at the time. And I gave her my last name, Wall. And the first marriage didn't work out. So she went back to Arizona. She divorced me in Arizona. And I think it was in back 2008, 9, somewhere in there. Alright, so I got with a young lady. I had a couple of boys by her, and we broke up as well. And so Michelle, long story short, she came back to Florida, or she came to Florida, And we got together again as girlfriend and boyfriend at that time. Then we subsequently got married after I found out that she was pregnant with my daughter. So I went on to marry her at 6 months when she was with my daughter. And this is the second marriage that I married her. So during that same year in October when my daughter was born, and she was a little infant baby, my wife at the time, Michelle, she assaulted my mother, and this was back in 2013. She assaulted my mother, was flipping out crazy, and was doing a lot of crazy reactions and everything. Still got video back then too, and I just want to bring it to the light. But I want to skip and just give you the highlights. So she assaulted my mama, snatched my own baby, which she wasn't even a couple of months at the time, and ran out the back door and ran down the road waiting for a sheriff car that was waiting on her to take her away. So fast forward from that, I hired a lawyer, got the primary custody of my daughter, and had her to go do her mental health like she's supposed to do, because that's what she get disability for. Let me go and give you just a little bit of history about my ex-wife. She was in Germany in the psych ward. She pretty much spent a lot of her years in psych ward. Then she came to the, I didn't find this out until later, okay? I didn't know this at the time. So then she come to America and was in the psych ward here in America. And she was in a bad accident over in Arizona. So she ended up, I don't know if she played like she was mentally ill or whatever, but she ended up getting mentally ill check after she divorced me over in Arizona, I think 2009, somewhere in there. So she did that and ended up going in the psych ward again, trying to kill herself while I was on the phone with her because she took an overdose of pills. So they put her in a psych ward again. This was during 2009. So about 2011, she came back after me and my other girlfriend broke up. We got back together, and she helped me get my kids out of foster care down in Florida because they was in foster care down there in Florida due to my boy's mother. So she came and stuck there by my side, helped me, did everything with me to help me get my kids out of foster care in Florida, Kissimmee, Florida, Osceola County. So that worked out good and everything. I got my boys, out in Florida, because they was little then. I think, they was 18 months, and my younger boy at that time was about 7-8 months. So got them back. Go ahead and fast forward because I don't want to hold you long and bore you with my conversation, but I'm just kind of giving you a parameter to understand what I've been going through. All right, so my wife get disability, mentally disability. She get physical and mental disability from Social Security, and one of her disabilities is ADHD. And another one is personality change. And she was getting disability based up under her stepdad, which his name was James Lane. When she first started, she had to go before a judge in Arizona to get disability, and they approved her for that, and approved her over a representative payee over her, which was her stepdaddy, because he helped to get disability until he talked for her. All right. After the process of time, maybe a year or so went by, when we got back together, I became her representative payee in Florida. So we moved to North Carolina, and when we went to the Social Security place there, they said she didn't need a representative pay. That was the Social Security Administration did in Richmond County, Rockingham, North Carolina. So they said that she didn't need a representative payee, so they gave her check to her herself. So she got it in her name, and Richmond County, North Carolina made that, Social Security Disability made that determination when we moved to North Carolina. So I didn't say nothing about it. So we went through the process. So her check was coming in her name now. At the same time, she was disabled, mentally disabled, personality change, and there was her disabilities. And what the judge found that she was disability at, that's why he ordered her to have a representative payee. So since that time, so after she snatched my daughter, ran, I got a lawyer, got my daughter, got primary custody of her, and then so we got back together until we have 2 more kids to come along, And when the 2 more kids came along, she was doing a lot of, going back in her depression and acting up because she was taking different kind of pills. So, and I was a truck driver, and I come in one morning early, going to bed, and she disturbed me. She jumping all over me, keeping me from sleeping, and ended up calling the police. Police got there, Police said they don't see no Bruce, can't arrest nobody. So she went that morning. This time we had opened up a car lot. So she went that morning, took warrants out on me for assault. Never assaulted her, never did anything like that there. She assaulted me. So she ended up leaving that night, left me and our kids, our 3 kids that we had. She ended up leaving, and then she took warrants out on me. So I ended up with the kids for like 2 years, from that November 2017 to March of 2019, when this judge, her name is Sophia Crawford, was a judge that was appointed as a judge by, I think it was Mike Easley, by the governor of North Carolina at the time. So I went through a whole lot of this biasness with her. She was a district attorney back in the day when I was younger, and I was getting in trouble. And she was a DA along with Lisa Tacker, Christopher Brad, Scott Brewer. So she was a district attorney, and she sent me to prison. I've been to prison. She sent me to prison. So later in life, later in years, she now is a judge. And I brought that to her attention. I said, Judge Crawford, you was the same judge that was a district attorney and sent me to prison back in the day at the prime of your life. And I said, so that make you biased, to hear this case. Okay, so that didn't stop her from hearing the case. I'm gonna go ahead and put it that way. Even though I wrote her up with the Judicial Commission standards, she still was the presiding judge over me and my wife at the time. So my wife assaulted me. Not only the time she left me in my house, she assaulted me again, which later became the judge, Christopher Rue, found her guilty for assaulting me. Just during the time I had the kids. I was 3 kids. So, because she hadn't got pregnant by another man. We were still married, but she had got pregnant by another man. So, Christopher Rue found her guilty, gave her 18 months probation. And gave her a minimum evaluation, everything. So I don't know if she went through that process or not, but I know she had 18 months probation. So December 2018, she assaulted me again, and I have the video to back it up too. She assaulted me again and at the DSS parking lot. They got cameras and everything out there. So she assaulted me and our children, my daughter, my son, right out there at night. It just supposed to have been a simple exchange of kids. Give me my kids back. Your visit is over. Instead of doing that, she ran up on me, snatched my daughter out my hand, knocked me to the ground. So DSS got involved, but they got involved on my part as I did the damage to her. So so she ended up going to the magistrate office, which her name was Holly Smith, and took fraudulent warrants out on me. And this was in 2018, for assault. Let me just tell you what the warrants were: assault on a female, assault on a pregnant woman, assault on a fetus, or however they do that. Communicating, interfering with emergency communication or something, however they had that. But I was found guilty I found not guilty on all charges because none of them true. So I went to take out one out on her, which the magistrate Holly Smith at the time didn't allow me to do that. She told me she wasn't gonna do that. So she didn't allow me my rights as a citizen of this country of North Carolina to take warrants out on the woman that had assaulted me and our children. She didn't do that. So Judge Michael Stone was the presiding judge at the time. They gave me a bond because it was a domestic, so he gave me a low bond, whereas I got out as when I went before him. And then a magistrate, finally, his name was Richard, that allowed me to take warrants out on my wife. And I did take the warrants out on her, and they did arrest her and lock her up. And at the process of doing so, she hid my child from me, one of my kids. She had my daughter, I had the other 2 boys, and she never would bring my daughter to me. And DSS helped her to lure my child from me with a perfect stranger. Whereas I was her dad and had primary custody of her. In the sheriff department, I called them up to ask them for their help to retrieving my daughter because my wife was locked up in jail. So they didn't assist me, and then when I found out where my daughter was on the Scotland County line and Richmond County line, and I asked them to come out. I got the video to that too. Everything that I'm speaking of, I got the video to it. They said they're gonna lock me up if I did anything, went on the property, anything. And I found out where my daughter was. I said, well, my daughter is there. I want y'all to go in and get my daughter. oh, we ain't gonna do nothing, you go for a judge, you go do this and do that. But see, my wife was in jail. You know, just like what the sheriff did to me, when they had arrested me, they allowed her to go take my children. All right, because from what the sheriff, and he dead now, but his name was James Clemens, what he told me at the time, well, if one parent get locked up, then that automatically gives the other parent the right to get the children. So, and she did do that. But then when it was vice versa, and I went to get my daughter, they wouldn't allow me to do that. So it was a discriminatory from the sheriff department that wouldn't assist me to get my daughter in 2018 after my wife was locked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward. So she assaulted me again while she was on probation, Richmond County, and the judge found her guilty again. Same judge, Christopher Root, found her guilty again and ordered at that time 2 years probation. That was on top of the 18 months she already had. Ordered her 2 years probation, mental health evaluation, and he did a whole lot. So this case went on for about 5 years. You know, Reese Saunders was the district attorney at the time. So I was going back and forth to court, you know, and finally I was going to court, and they had, Reese Saunders the district attorney had dismissed the criminal charges. It was a superior court now. Had dismissed criminal charges against her without me knowing, and I was the plaintiff. And the district attorney's office didn't contact me and let me know they was going to dismiss charges against Michelle. But they dismissed those charges. But before they dismissed those charges, let me tell you what they did. So we went to court. So Judge Sophia Crawford took my rights away, stripped me of my right, March of 2018. You know, stripped me of my right. No, March of 2019. This is just after she had assaulted me the second time in December 2018. So 2019, March of 2019, Judge Sophia Crawford ordered my kids and gave her all the rights to my kids and took my rights away. And she basically stripped me of my rights, period. That's what she did. And I was the parent that had my kids for 2 years while she was going off doing whatever she was doing. And she come right in, and my little baby boy at the time, when she left, he was about 4 months old. He didn't even know her. And now he was about two years old, my little baby boy. But Sophia Crawford, after telling her that, and I told her I didn't want to go nowhere near that woman had done assaulted me several times. And Sophia Crawford still ordered me to take my kids to that woman, and that woman assaulted me again. And then right after that, a couple of months later, which is March 2019, she stripped me of my rights in court and took my kids away from me and gave them to a mentally ill woman, and a physically disabled woman, and pregnant. So she stripped me of my rights to my kids and gave them to Michelle. And let me bring her lawyer in, David McGuire, which he was a conflict too as well. He represented my daughter in court. So my wife went to him, you know. Of course she should have told her no, because I represent Mr. Wall's daughter. So now he represented my wife against me after representing my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So he did that. And his name is David McQuarrie, which is the lawyer that would put himself in conflict with representing the Wall against the Wall after representing the Wall, which was my daughter. And her name was Diamond. So he went on to represent Michelle, my wife. So that automatically made him a conflict, but I guess he didn't see that he was a conflict, so he took the case. And he did a whole lot of stuff that was wrong, that I consider to be wrong. And I'm thinking that the law, what he did was wrong, and the law wise too, because he fished for the bank statements from the bank that I was banking with, and because we was going through a divorce. So he used that information that he had fished and got my bank statements, and the case was dismissed against me with her, with equity distribution, child support, and everything. Well, not child support, but this is what he wrote off of. So he turned documents over that he had got himself during the divorce and gave them to Joseph David III, which is a child support attorney in Richmond County. And he was biased. He was triple biased because he was my attorney years before. He was my appeal attorney. Has been my attorney on numerous occasions, and that was before he ever became a child support attorney. So when he became a child support attorney, you know, I'm telling the judge, look, he's a biased judge. Well, he was a biased judge, but I said my lawyer's in conflict because he was my lawyer before he ever became a child support lawyer. So that automatically made him a conflict. But did that change anything? No, it didn't change nothing. They still tried. The judge tried it, which made him biased, and went back and ordered me to pay child support based on what my bank statement said I had before the pandemic. Now, mind you, this was in 2023 that Judge Warren McSweeney did this now, because I ain't have no job at this time. You know, so he went in and ordered me to pay child support over $1,200 a month based on what I had in my account before the pandemic in 2020. But yet, the Joseph Davis, which was the child support attorney, did not retrieve her bank statements for the same year that they retrieved my bank statements for her income. And her income was over $10,000 at the time. So they only went off of my income and then used her income and then do the same thing that they did to me. They didn't pull her bank statement, and her bank was a Wells Fargo bank. Her bank was Wells Fargo, Mama State Employee Credit Union. And that's what happened with that. That made it about, and then something happened afterwards, because I didn't meet court no more. So something happened afterwards where some kind of way the case of child support got turned to another county way somewhere else that I had no knowledge of. You know, but this was after the ruling. After the ruling. Then the judge stepped back and said, okay, well, he in conflict with every judge here, so we're going to just take his case out of here. But yet, they had then tried me first and made ruling. But then after that, then now they had conflict. But there was a conflict before they tried me. So evidently Joseph David III, along with whoever else, got my child support case transferred out, but they didn't transfer out the child custody case. You know, so because all the cases was going together, there was no separation in the cases, but they transferred the child support case into Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Forsyth County, and left the child custody case there in Richmond County. That way it keeps me from being able to file anything when she don't uphold and do what she's supposed to do, which she haven't did anything that she's supposed to do concerning my kids. Living in the same county, you know, I might add that too. Yes, sir. Living in the same county. So, like, in other words, they're like Sophia Crawford did the same thing. When she took my kids and stripped me of my right, then she accused herself from any more proceedings, because she was already biased. I let her know she was biased before I even went in front of her. But she still tried the case and took my kids from me and took my rights away. And yet afterward, then she accused herself. So that's bias in itself. So you're gonna hurt me first, and then you're gonna accuse yourself after you hurt me. So that's what Sophia Crawford did, along with some other judges. So now I'm gonna go ahead and push on forward a little bit into the problem I've been having. So DSS looked over the fact that my wife at the time, which was Michelle, assaulted me out there in their own parking lot, got on their own camera, assaulted our children, and they failed to take care to protect my kids from her. That's what they did. That's what I was getting to. They saw it on their own camera. Their own cameras recorded the video that night when my wife assaulted me, Michelle, assaulted me and our children. And they failed to take care of my children. They failed to make my kids safe. They failed my children. That's what I'm telling you. So after they failed my children, so I just moved away. And I moved to Florida with my other boys, my two boys that I had about another relationship. And I moved to Florida because wasn't nothing working for me there, so I moved away. So I moved away for a while. So I came back to North Carolina, put them back in school in North Carolina. So problems started up again with Michelle. Some kind of way she was contacting my kids, or my kid was contacting, I don't know how, but she was coaching my kid to do certain things to show the DSS that I'm being an abusive parent, which I wasn't. So one day my boy bowled up at me, you know, and it was very mildly, and I let him know I'm your daddy, and I put him on the floor. I sure did, and I did it, and I told the court I did that. So you know what I'm saying. So when he went to school the next day, he made up a lot of lies that I've been beating on him, I've been hurting him and physically abusing him, and wasn't. So, but DSS took it upon itself, and her name is Ebony Jones, to take my kids from the schoolhouse, both of my boys, take them from the schoolhouse without letting me know that she did it, without giving me any kind of written notice or anything that says that I'm taking your kids. You got a hearing. So got a judge. I finds out later, about a month later, that a judge signed some paper with January. Now, mind you, this happened like earlier part of December, so December 2024. So in January 2025, I'm just now, I guess my son snuck and called me on the phone somewhere and told me where they were. They was at a Daymark, a mental health facility here in Richmond County, Rockingham, North Carolina, for like a couple of weeks. So, and that was really hurting my boys at the time. So my boy got up there in the court. He said, I lied, I made up this, my daddy didn't do this to me. So this woman judge got up there, you know, I hadn't saw my kids not one time until January 11, I think it was. And I saw them in court then. So they stripped me of my rights without telling me, without me having to do process or hearing or anything, because I never seen the court until January 11, 2025. And they took my kids in December 2024. So long story short, I'm gonna go ahead and give you highlights about that. So the DSS, you know, they has a personal vendetta against me along with the sheriff department. I'm going to put them in there together because when they took my kids from the school, I didn't know where they were. They didn't come home on the bus. So I called 911 and made a report that my kids was missing. So they took the report, and then I think the 911 operator called me back sometime later and was like, Sergeant so-and-so want to speak to you, call him back. But I didn't call back because I made the report already. My kids was missing, and that the officer need to contact me or whatever. Then no officer contact me. I know the officer name, but I have to go back and look at my information. So the sheriff department didn't do the job and report back to me about my children. So if they known that the DSS had my children, they didn't tell me that, and they didn't report to me that they had them neither. So I went about my kids missing for a month and didn't even know where they was, and nothing. They failed to go to school. They wasn't in school. They took my kids on a Monday. They went to school Tuesday, Wednesday. After Wednesday the same week, they touched school, seen school in over a month. They wasn't going to school or nothing. So let me just go ahead and break it down now. I gave you I think those are all the highlights right there. That first, DSS didn't protect my children. They didn't give me equal. And then, well, more than that, they allowed Michelle, she got remarried to a Jones. So they allowed her, that don't have no affiliation with my two boys at all. So they allowed her to come visit with my children in the office. Got the video of that too. They allowed her, without my permission, to visit my children in DSS, at the DSS building, the Social Service, Department of Social Service and Human Health. So I didn't find that out till later. Then I discovered the pictures from that they allowed that, and they never had even contacted me whatsoever. So, Trump and J.D. Vance, I need your help. I need your help to come down here in Richmond County, North Carolina, Rockingham. I need your help in how I've been dealt and how they've been treating me and my family. While my daughter has a lawsuit against the sheriff department because of what the sheriff department did to her. Well, they assaulted three of my daughters, but my oldest daughter decided that she was gonna fight. She wasn't gonna let it go by because they assaulted three of my daughters that night. Falsely arrested them. See, and let me just give you the gist on that. I went to turn myself in on a fraudulent charge that Michelle had took against me with her and that Holly Smith, which was the magistrate. Same magistrate that wouldn't let me take out papers. So I went to turn myself in because I'm like, hey, I ain't did nothing, so I'm gonna go turn myself in. That's what I did. So in the process of me turning myself in, they got rallied with my daughters. So while they were processing me into the jail, my daughter started coming in there behind me. So I'm like, what's going on? Well, they locking all over. They say lock them all up. Say the sheriff said lock them all up. So they locked up all my daughter falsely, because the only thing they was there for to make sure that they didn't hurt me or do anything to me while I was turning myself in. That was their purposes for being there. So they ended up getting falsely locked up and falsely charged by Holly Smith, which was the magistrate at that time in 2018. But my other two daughters didn't pursue the lawsuit, but my oldest daughter pursued the lawsuit against him. It's going over 6 years now, I think it is. and it's coming down to a federal, where it's in federal court. So so it's been an ongoing thing. And then with the car dealership, they has caused New World Auto Sale to go under because of their constant harassment at New World Auto Sales, you know, and caused New World Auto Sale to just go under. And that's due to the sheriff department and their constant harassment and coming at New World Auto Sale. So now today, they just had a trial. I was there in court, and my lawyer John Airwood was there, and whoever else was there, I don't know, because I wasn't there. I'm in Florida at the time. So I guess the judge found responsible for everything, which I knew that was gonna happen anyway, because the judge already gave me a vibe that she said she used to be a government lighter, which made her conflict already. So so basically, it was a biased thing from from DSS to the judge in the courthouse, from the sheriff department, everything. So what I'm asking you and JD Vance to do is just the point, or come down and look at my case into what DSS has done, and distributing letting information out that they don't supposed to, and contacting my ex-wife that doesn't have anything to do with my kids, and visiting, making visitations, and been in the psych Daymart, which is a mental health facility, for a month, and never went to school. So now, at this point, now they doing whatever they want to my children, because my bottom line, my children, that's some real. My oldest boy it had nothing to do with my baby boy. My oldest, he was 11 at the time. My other boy, no, he was 12 at the time. My other son was 13 at the time. So it was just him being rebellious, and it started from wrecking the yard. I said, "Little son, go out there and wreck that yard, clean up the yard." He refused to do so. So when I scripted him from the basketball team after that was his punishment. I scripted him from the basketball team. Since you didn't want to go out there and clean the yard up, so you ain't gonna play no basketball. That's when he bowled up, and that's when I put him on the floor. And I ain't gonna never say what I didn't do, because I did do it. Now, I ain't beat him, ain't did none of that, but I snatched him and put his butt on that floor to let him know, boy, I'm your dad, you're not gonna bull up at me. So that's what happened with that. So DSS has taken that and ran with it, and to come at me, and I'm saying that to say this. My boy was not abused, but yet they saw my ex-wife abusing me and our children and didn't do nothing about it in 2018, but yet my boys came to them with a lie for their protection, and so they ran with that, and ain't no bruise. And you can look, they took photos of my kid, which he probably put them on himself or whatever, because I know good well I ain't put no bruise on my son whatsoever. Nothing. If I put bruise on my son, I mean, I wouldn't let him go to school. I was there at the bus first thing in the morning, watching them get on that bus. But Ebony Jones, Lena Collins, a lady named Jada, and another lady named Alexis, and I don't know how many more was involved, but them the one that I know that was involved, and leaking the information out and everything. And like I said, what I need y'all to do, help me to do, is come in and thoroughly make sure this case is investigated. And I want to go all the way back to 2018, all the way back to 2013. This is a mentally insane woman, you know, that's been diagnosed and getting disability for it from the government, a Social Security disability from the government. And she's been diagnosed as mentally ill. She's been diagnosed as ADHD. She's been diagnosed as personality change, which means, I don't know what that means. I read something about it. Mean that they can act one way one time and act another way the other time. So that's what she does, and that's my ex-wife, and that's the kind of woman she is. And I know this for a fact, and got documentation for that too as well, on her condition and her disability condition. But yet the judge ordered her to take my kids and raise my kids along with the two she was about to have out of wedlock, committing adultery on her marriage to another man. And now, I like for y'all look into that too as well, because I don't know, the man is paying the child support, and I guess she was hiding that, and I don't know if it's legally he paying child support through the system or what, because as far as the North Carolina law go, I'm the daddy because she had him while she was still married to me. So, and she and they was conceived while she was married to me. So if they some kind of way in the legal ramification, some judge or some whatever they done, if they got this man under child support, that this man ain't presented as these children's daddy in the law, I don't know. And then if he is, it's been against, I don't know nothing about it. And ain't nobody contacted me about it because the state of North Carolina presumed that I'm the daddy because she was my wife at the time she conceived and when she delivered. So I don't know nothing about that. I need y'all help. I just need y'all help, Mr. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. I just need y'all help in coming to Richmond County, and I got the more detail I can feed y'all, you and your camp. So please contact me. You see my video. Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance, contact me through this and help me to bring those people that's responsible to justice and to hurting my family, the Wall family, for all these years. And we had the process now. We filed all kind of documents to the government, to the DSS, and we're going through the chain of command. We already signed papers to the DSS, the director, and now we done signed papers to Raleigh, and now I'm looking to send papers to DC because I want everybody to see what the DSS has done and has done to my family over the years, along with the sheriff department. And I just need y'all help. And since God has put it on me to break this YouTube based on and reaching out to Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance about the president and the vice president and who gonna be the next president, J.D. Vance. So, and I'm going. That's already out there. The next president, J.D. Vance. And but I do need y'all help. And God has brought it into my mind and my attention. I couldn't sleep, and this is way early in the morning. And so he said, let's go out there and let's say it, dude. And I'm come out here doing it, and this is what I'm coming out here to tell y'all. And it's a whole lot of other stuff that I haven't said, but I know this is gonna take a sit down with y'all, with your camp, your company, to air everything out. You know, I already wrote the news people about it, and so I'm just spreading everything out there. And this is the thing I'm spreading out to you, Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance. Please reach out to me through my YouTube. Contact me. My name is William Wall, Richmond County, Rockingham, North Carolina, against the sheriff department, the judges, the DSS, because I stand up for my rights, and they violate my rights in every way, and they have violated my rights in every way, and have transferred a case out of Richmond County that belongs in Richmond County, and has transferred it out after rendering the order. And I don't know nothing about my case being in some other county, in some other city. Only one case, child support. But the child custody kept it in Richmond County. Don't make sense to me. If you're going to put one case out, you put all the cases out. And since I was in conflict with every judge, as they say, then all that case would be out of Richmond County too. So anyway, I just want to reach out to you, and that's what I got to say. I ain't want to hold you so long, but I want J.D. Vance, Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance to look at my video and come to my aid, come to us Wall's aid, because we fight for our right. And I like what you're doing, Trump. You're doing a good job, and I always like what you're doing. And I'm 100% Republican. You can believe that. 100% to make America great again. Let's do it. Now let's make Richmond County great and get them evil people up out of there. Thank y'all. Thank you for hearing me too. Now I look forward to hearing back from you and your camp, because I know you're going to see this video. You're going to get it. Thank you.